All right, I'm back. And since I have some time on my hands and I have been MIA for a few days, I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit more information. The previous video that you just saw, we were talking about the different types of plea bargainings. Okay, and then something I said we were going to go into laws unique to Texas, but before we get there, and since it's considered really the same day if you want to get technical, I wanted to also shed some light upon, and I'm doing this for you all out there, but doing it for my family as well, because we all have questions, especially when we've never been in this situation before. So these are also help to cover a lot of questions that my family has as well, and the things that we've been through and experienced recently in the last 6 months. So the question came up, why did we choose a bench trial versus a jury trial? Okay, and so there's advantages and disadvantages, of course, to both. Okay, alrighty. So the best option to render your trial verdict or a judge. Okay, so when you are a bench trial is basically when the judge is the judge and jury. Okay, the attorneys are there before her. She hears your case, and then she makes the decision as far as the sentencing. Okay, so the advantage of having a bench trial instead of a jury trial is it's less time consuming. Okay, it's less complex than a jury trial. A bench trial may be less formal. Your defense attorney and the prosecuting attorney are sometimes able to discuss and to agree on some or all of the pertinent case facts. A bench trial is often chosen by the defendant in cases presenting with complex facts or legal subtleties. So a bench trial is not quite as formal. Okay. Alrighty. The judge on the bench trial is also provided the stipulation of facts instead of the presentation of witness testimony and documentary evidence to determine the case facts, and then they decide whether the evidence warrants a guilty or not guilty verdict. Okay. Now, in our case, since we decided to plead guilty, all our attorneys were to do was to go in and to basically paint my son in a better light. First time offense, character witnesses, people showing up, speaking on his behalf, showing that he's remorseful, showing that he's sorry and that he truly learned from his consequences. And so that's a little bit different because he had already pleaded guilty. Okay. Alrighty. So bench trials, are they always advantageous? No. Because the judge is sitting in for the jury, there's no need to present jury instructions on either side of the case. For that reason, the judge decides the proper instructions in consideration of the admissible evidence. Okay. All right. Jury instructions may offer grounds for a future appeal because the appellate lawyer may argue that the judge provided reversible error in the jury instructions. Okay. So there's some things that can kind of turn it and work in the defendant's favor there. Okay. A case with riveting facts is often a better candidate for a jury trial. Okay. Because remember, if you're sitting there and you only have a limited time before the judge, there is no way that she would have enough time to go through all of the evidence, everything, touch on every single thing, and then make that decision. Whereas if she had, if you go before a trial jury, the more complex things can be brought out. Okay, and I did learn that also when dealing with my son's case, that I was hurt and just kind of bewildered, and I just ignorant in a sense as to why certain things didn't come out, certain things wasn't said or fought, or certain evidence wasn't put out there. And I found out that I was getting it confused with a trial by jury instead of a bench trial. Okay. Alrighty. So there's if it's really complex and you have a complex case, you may not want to go before just a judge, a bench trial. You may want to go trial by jury so that you can get all the complexities, all of the evidence out on the table so there'd be ample time to look at everything to decide your fate. Okay? And so a jury trial is determined by a selected panel of the defendant's peers. Okay? Under the Sixth Amendment, okay, to the Constitution, all criminal defendants have a right to a jury trial. Now, once you agree and say, okay, I want a bench trial, then you've waived your opportunity to have a jury trial. Okay, so remember that. Once you make a decision to do either or, the other one's off the table. Okay. All right, so just make sure you're clear on that, okay? So 12 individuals will evaluate the evidence offered in the court case, and they weigh and discuss discrepancies in the presentation of evidence, okay? All righty, so let's go down to, there are many reasons to choose a bench trial. Okay, municipal court. Municipal courts don't preside over jury trials. A bench trial is the only option in that case. Okay, nuanced legal issue. The defendant or his or her criminal defense attorney may believe that the fact pattern involves nuanced legal issues that a judge may best understand. Okay, in other words, maybe some of the jurors or whatever, it's complex again, and it's way over their head as far as maybe say like tax laws or legal nuances. Okay. Tax laws, things that they don't hear of every day. You may want that to go before a judge because a judge would specialize in that type of law. Okay, in legal fees, a bench trial may require less time, and then the attorney and the fees and everything are less for the defendant. Okay, because you do know after when all this is over, you're gonna owe some money. Okay, alrighty. So you owe your criminal, your what do you call it? Attorney fees, okay, court fees, and maybe even restitution if that's what the judge requires you to do. Okay, sexually explicit or racially charged fact patterns. The defendant and his or her defense attorney may believe that a judge is best able to deliberate the facts of the case. Okay, racially charged or sexually explicit. I don't know if you want 12 people of your quote unquote peers hearing all of that and having to weigh that, and there be some type of bias or something there that would not give you a fair deal under the Sixth Amendment. An informal environment, okay, the bench trial is often less formal than a jury trial and typically requires less time, and I believe I said that before. Alrighty, when you want to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of a bench trial, of course, ask your attorney what would be the best way to go. Choose an experienced criminal defense attorney. Okay, you may want an attorney with jury trial experience in your jurisdiction. Ask him or her often to offer insight about how a jury may respond to your case. If local jurors tend to doubt decisions made by law enforcement in a DUI case, it may make sense to ask for a jury trial. Okay, consider the prosecutor. Again, an experienced criminal defense attorney is likely to have deep experience in arguing cases with the prosecutor. Okay, alrighty. So reasons why, let's look at as far as okay, I like this right here. Realize that you are entitled to complete evidentiary bench trial if you're accused of a criminal offense. You have the right to engage a criminal defense attorney to represent you at the trial. Although a bench trial may be a good decision in many cases, it's not always the best course, so seek your attorney. There might be other reasons to choose a bench trial, like the jury is likely to take more time and it costs a lot because, again, remember, you as the defense, you're paying for all these costs. Okay, your criminal defense attorney will take more time to evaluate the potential jurors and weigh in concerning jury selection. Now, again, let me add this. This is something else that I learned. During a bench trial, the district attorney does not have to disclose who his witnesses are going to be. So this does not give your attorney the opportunity to, does not give your attorney the opportunity to vet those witnesses. Okay. So I had some confusion about that as well. Okay. So I was like, okay, how come you didn't interview them before they got up there? You knew who they were going to be. You talked, they don't have to disclose that. Now, in a jury trial, yes, you will get a list of who their witnesses are, as well as they'll get a list of who you're bringing to the stand. So there are no surprises, and then you can talk. Your attorney can talk to these witnesses and different things like that, and interview them beforehand. Okay, juries are known to be unpredictable. Jurors may misunderstand the judge's instructions or the fail to comprehend the burden of proof. Remember, in court, it's what you can prove. What you can prove if you went into court not pleading not guilty. Okay, it's up to them to weigh the burden of proof to see whether you are guilty or not guilty. Jurors may have an inherent bias. We know that to be true because we're human. They're human just like we are. Okay, although the juror is supposed to be impartial, he or she may completely disregard your presumed innocence. Okay, so deciding whether to have a bench trial or a jury trial that is best for you, please consult your experienced criminal defense attorney, and you need his or her advice on how to proceed. Okay, again, this was bench trial versus jury trial, just in layman terms. I am not a legal advisor. I'm looking this stuff up, learning, reading, getting with my lawyers, talking it out, writing, taking notes, researching, and all of this, just like you can do. So I don't want anybody to come back and say, okay, because my MO is, my degree and is in education. I have nothing to do with law, although it's fascinating and I love learning about it. Again, I just wish that I knew more about the law before my son got in trouble with the law. So again, I don't want to take away from the reasons why I am doing this. I'm putting this information out there for you all in case you find yourself in trouble with the law. Okay, especially our young people. Alrighty? Alrighty, until next time. And please remember, go out and vote. Vote, have a voice, have a say. All right, have a great evening. Bye-bye.